All right. Are we broadcasting? Are we broadcasting? I think so. Mhm. Checking stuff out here, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. Checking stuff out here, guys. Yeah, turn that down. All right. So good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. It is 9:30 a.m. and it is Friday. April 10th, 2026. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Just want to jump in. As usual, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. And doing another live stream, but of course, this will be posted on the channel afterwards for viewing, just on the regular underneath the live section of my channel. So if you're looking for it later, that's where it is. And we're just going to jump right in. Let's take a look here. First, I'm going to go over the futures just quick because the futures market just opened a few minutes ago. So, as you guys know, I had these trades. I had trades on with wheat and corn, which I closed out during the overnight session last night. So I did leave a little bit on the table. I got out, I think on wheat, it was right about where the cursor is. And let's see, for corn, it's still moving down. And I do ultimately expect corn to fill this gap. Probably should have let that one run. Wheat, I was okay with cutting that one, but corn, I should have just kept that one running. But I just don't generally like letting those run overnight. But so those were good trades. I made about, I was one contract each, so nothing big, but it was about $800 or so. And so those are closed now. There's no entries right now. So looking at soybeans, we just continue to work inside of this real tight range right here. Okay, so this is the daily chart. So even if we go down to the 4 hour, you can see we're still in this really tight range. We had this fake out right here. This was back on Tuesday, where it's spiked through the this channel, this range area, and trap some. I'm sure some breakout people looking to go short, and then it snapped right back in the range and been going up ever since. And we are now back inside the range and heading towards the top end. So again, as I said, I have no interest in trading this until we get some breakaway away from this range. And so because of this fake out right here, the bottom end of this range, I'm actually going to move to here because now I would want to see it clear this low because this becomes our new bottom edge of the range. The top edge still hasn't changed unless we get a fake out through the top. So let's see what happens with this. Obviously, we have a lot of price parity in soybeans right now, and so there's really no point trying to trade this. Obviously, if you're a scalper or you're, or even a day trader, a quick day trader where you're trading down on a short time frame, then certainly I guess there's trades in here you could take. But again, the way I trade, especially in futures, I look for usually about 4 hour entries, just using price action and the stochastic RSI. There's nothing here for me to do, and I don't like trading in ranges, so be it for soybeans for now. Soybean meal, on the other hand, has started to really rally strong. You can see this one's been going up. We kind of broke out of this little range, so this one's kind of bucking the trend a little bit. So obviously, there's no trade right here. There was an entry back here. This is probably one um, that I should have taken. This was back on Monday, and but I at that point we were still kind of range bound, and so I just didn't really look at this as an entry, although it did come back here to this previous breakout area right here where we had this strong move away from this zone. So whatever, it was a missed entry. If this is going to be more of a long term move in soybean meal, then I'll just wait for it to give me a pullback and another signal. Although, we come back up to this level here, we're going to be hitting a kind of a triple top here. So let's see if I'm sure we're going to run into some serious resistance not too far over here, but we'll see how that one plays out. And then soybean meal, excuse me, oil on the other hand is really not doing anything. This one just continues to chop around near the highs. If we go to the 4 hour chart, um, this did give us a little bit of a signal here yesterday to go short. But you can see it's just been just creeping down. I mean, I'm tempted to take a short on this, even though it's a bit of a late entry. But you know, we have this zone right here where it's approaching right now, and I just have a feeling it's going to come into this area again and then bounce. Now, whether it eventually breaks through here or not, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But um, this asset, as you can see, it doesn't make a lot of big candles. You can see most of the candles, even when it's trending, are relatively small. So you can't really go by the size of the candles. And this is just a unique part of this market. Like you said, even when it's trending, you can see the candles overall are pretty small. So even though these candles are small, that doesn't mean anything. I'm just looking more at price levels. We do have this one here, and then there's another one down here. And this thing is just kind of chopping around here. But like I said, there is technically was an entry just by the stochastic RSI here. But since it hasn't really made a new low yet, I'm not sure how valid this is. I mean, I want to see in this case a new low put in and then a pullback, and we didn't really get that. I mean, we had this gap down here, and this still could go back and fill this gap before it continues down. So again, I'm not sure if I really want to take this. I probably will let it go and just not trade this at all today, but we'll see. But if I'm going to trade it, it's going to have to be pretty soon because it is Friday, and these grain markets are very limited trading time, and they tend to just kind of make their move early in the session, and by about noontime or so, most days, unless there's news or something, they tend to just burn out. So I'm looking at my on my other screen here where I can monitor the live stream, and my picture keeps freezing. I don't know if that's actually the case or not. I don't know why that keeps doing that. Um, my picture keeps freezing. Let me see here. On my studio where I can see what I'm recording, my picture is fine, but on the actual live stream, it keeps freezing up my picture. It'll be open, then it freezes again. But so be it. Doesn't matter as long as the audio is there. Who cares? Okay. All right. So that's that for futures. Not really a heck of a lot going. Again, potential opening on here on soybean oil, but yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to fight FOMO here, but I just not sure if this is really, worth taking. Daily chart here, we've got, we do have kind of a double top up here, where potentially we're going to start heading lower because we put in this double top. We had a couple of days where price fought at these levels up here, and then we gapped down. So it could be a trade. Um, but I'll keep an eye on it over the next 20 minutes once this live stream ends, and I'll see whether it's showing any momentum to go down. Right now, it's not doing anything. So, but we're only less than 15 minutes into the open here. I'm actually going to put an alert just in case, just below this current candle, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so on to Forex. So you can probably hear the pinging. I'm getting alerts. That was GBP Canadian. So GBP Canadian, we're getting this. I have this alert set right here for breakout, and I was trying to see, and I actually am in this long. Not really doing too great at the moment. Let's go to the daily chart. Daily chart is clearly showing some divergence up. But of course, the entry really was back here on Monday or Tuesday of this week. So this is a even though I'm in this, I took a late entry, but I felt like it had a lot more upside, especially after it rejected right here, the market came right back with two more bullish days. So I felt like the buyers were still in pretty much control here, which I think they might be. And I was looking to at least see it come back up towards this high up here. So I'm going to hold it, even though it's chopping around a little bit right now. And yeah, so let's all right, let me just silence this alert because it's going to keep going off. We'll just delete it. I don't really need it right now. All right, let me uh, I'm going to try to bring up my other screen here. I may have to stop sharing just for a second. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second here, guys. It's kind of a pain the way this thing works. I'm not sure I really like this software. Okay, so here is my here are my current positions. Um, you can see, let's see here. I need to collapse a couple of these. GBP. No, they're all. You can see I got a lot of positions open. So we're up about 600 bucks right now, but we've got quite a few in drawdown. We've got GBP Canadian. I just talked about. We got GBP NZD, which I took this one today. We've got GBP USD, which I just had a signal on that one I just opened too, and Kiwi Swiss. Those are all the ones in loss. So Kiwi Swiss. So I've got you can see I've got pound Kiwi on long and Kiwi Swiss long. So that's a little bit of a conflict. So if we go back and we want to look at these charts, um, all right, and let me just go back to Trading View. We're just going to stick with Trading View here. Okay. So we'll go back to Trading View here. So if we look at GBP Canadian, I mean, excuse me, GBP Swiss, we've got both of these kind of heading up. This is the 21 period right here. Okay. So we've got this heading up. These are both heading up. But you can see that the NZD was starting to bend down. And so that's why I took the long here. Okay. We took this long position. And I was hoping that this was just a pullback and we'd keep going up. So, but if we go over to Kiwi Swiss, of course, I was long on this too because of this crossover. But now again, we've got the NZD bending down and we've also got the Swiss rallying up too. So this one is probably not going to work out. So I'm more inclined to hold on to GBP NZD. Um, just because if the New Zealand dollar does start to weaken and the pound continues to pull a little bit of strength here, then we can. Oh God, I just went through all that, and sorry guys, I wasn't sharing screen. Okay, so let me just do that again. So, like I said, I'm long pound New Zealand dollar and also long New Zealand Swiss. Now, that technically is a conflict because you've got the New Zealand dollar on both sides of this in both long positions. Now, that doesn't always mean anything because sometimes if in this case the New Zealand dollar was neutral, then there wouldn't necessarily be a conflict. But if we look at the New Zealand dollar on the currency strength indicator, it was trading up pretty strong. This is the pound New Zealand dollar. But you can see, it's showing a little bit of weakness today. And so, but the pound was heading up, which is why I took the pound Kiwi long. I was hoping that this was just, a nice big pullback here and that ultimately go up. Although these were pretty bearish candles. And, this right here could end up just being, a break and retest, a breakdown and now a retest before we keep going down. Um, so I'm not really sure. And if we go to New Zealand, Swiss, on the other hand, this was been, kind of range bound. It was kind of drifting lower, and then we had a few days of pretty bullish action. And but now you can see what's happening is the Swiss and the New Zealand dollar are both rallying. So that's causing, and obviously the Swiss is a little bit stronger. So that's causing a little bit of a sell off on this pair today. And so it is definitely a conflict. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to hold on to these or not. Um, but we will see what happens here. GBP Canadian, I'm long on that. It's sitting about break even right now, and GBP USD. So I have a lot of GBP risk on right now. But GBP Canadian, we already looked at, but GBP USD looks like, again, this is trying to push area. It's very much like pound Canadian, where a few days ago we had this bullish run, came up to these equal highs and then pulled back. So rejected off these equal highs. But then we've had, you can see 2 days now of it kind of the buyers fighting back and pulling this thing up. So it's not like we got a rejection and then a red candle rolling over and going down. The buyers are actually trying to come back in here and buy this back up. And so I felt, like this again could probably break through this resistance area here. Because you can see every other time, it came up here and immediately rolled over with bearish candles. Same thing here, right? Came up, rolled over with a big bearish candle, came up again, then rolled over with, a downtrend. Now this time we had that rejection, but now we've come back with two bullish candles. So it looked like the buyers are a little bit stronger at this level, and eventually these resistance levels, will break. They don't hold forever. And if the buyers are strong, eventually they're gonna, get up enough momentum to punch through here. There just won't be any more sellers in this area, whether they're just, spooked out of the market, or you got buyers that took profit here and they sold to get out, and now that's it. And the sellers maybe keep getting trapped here, especially on these two bull candles. So they're not selling anymore. So they get out, they buy back positions, and that pushes the market up again. So we'll see what happens. But I'm probably gonna, hold that. But we'll see. And then NZD yen. Let's take a look at NZD yen since we're talking about the Kiwi. NZD yen, again, taking a little breather here, but again, ultimately, I feel pretty good that this will continue to push higher here. Again, we got a little weakness in the New Zealand today, with this, you can see on the currency strength indicator. This is the New Zealand dollar on this particular instance. You can see it was going up, and we have this little bend down today, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of weakness in the NZD yen. But on the pound Kiwi, um, we've got kind of strength in the pound, but we also had strength in the Kiwi, which is why this trade was not a good trade going into today, because both of these were heading upward. But we saw this little bend here, and so that's why I took it. But I'm thinking I may end up closing that trade. I'm not sure if that's going to really pan out, especially looking at the price action. So I'm still kind of leaning more towards NZD strengthening than weakening, in which case, again, this pound Kiwi trade is probably not one I want to stay in. But I'm in it right now, and these are kind of the decisions you have to make. I don't let I very, very rarely let my trades run to stop loss. I set pretty wide stop losses because I really just want them there for an emergency backstop in case something happens, crazy when I'm not at the charts. But besides that, I tend to just cut things loose as soon as I get any, and that's just a little bit of intuition I develop over time that, if I just don't like the way it's playing out and, the picture kind of changes up here, especially with the live feed turned on, then I just cut the trades loose. So I'm just not going to, hold on to those. And like I said, I do have live trade turned on, which is, like I said, is can be a plus and a minus. It can be a plus because you can give you an early look before the candle closes on a potential trade, but at the same time, it can also give you a false signal too because it could, 1 minute be showing the entry, and then as the candle continues to develop and more price action comes in, it could flip back, towards not being a signal. So that's kind of the what you have to weigh the advantages of keeping the live data selection turned on. I have it on for now, but like I said, there's good and bad to that. So, and it definitely can lead to false entries, but it can also give you some really early entry, especially on a daily chart where you don't have to wait for that daily candle to close and you potentially miss a whole good trading day. There's something to be said for that too. So just depends on your risk tolerance and how much you're willing to wait or not. So, and you can see I am showing two CSIs today. I know I've gone back and forth. This is a 10 period and this is a 21. There's not a huge difference, to be honest. When you back test it, I mean, again, the 10 generally will give you slightly quicker entries. But in some of my back testing, I was finding instances where the 21 actually gave a better entry because it just depends. You're looking at either 10 candles or 21 candles back. And depending what happened during those past 10 or 21 candles can really lead to how the indicator is going to show you, what it's going to show you. And it's not always what you would think, where like, well, the 10 period is going to be better. It's more reactive, it's more current price action. Yes, it is. But that current price action, those 10 candles, might not be the whole picture, whereas maybe the 21 is. And so um, that's why I said there is no perfect length of time on this. There's going to be some instances where the 10 will be better and some where the 21 will be better. So do you just keep both of them on there? I guess that's what I have right now. I don't like having two. I'm going to tell you that because it's just, to me, it just makes the chart too busy. I like just having one. But you know, maybe I should split the difference, right? Like the difference between a 7 and a 21 is 28, right? If you find an average, right? The low end is 7, the upper end is 21, right? That's 21 plus 7 is 28, divided by 2 is 14. So that brings you to the 14 day, the 14 period, and just go with that, right? You split the difference and you just take the good with the bad and just go with a 14. There's probably not much difference between a 10 and a 14. Um, so, anyways, I'm still playing around with it. I'm just kind of talking out loud here and walking through this, but that's how I kind of look at this right now. So, um, but yeah. Anyways, so that's pretty much what we got. Anything else quick here? I'm just looking at stuff. I went through pairs last night during the Asian session for watch lists. So one was the U.S. dollar Swiss, which on the 10 period does look like there's a potential sell setting up here. So I actually might take that one. I had Euro Aussie, which there's nothing there right now. We already talked about pound New Zealand. How about pound Aussie? It's going to be pretty much the same. Yeah, there's nothing there. They're both kind of heading up right now. Let's look at NU since we're talking about the New Zealand dollar still. And NU, again, there is a bullish signal here. But right now, with the New Zealand dollar being a little bit weak today, it's not a great trade. And I have plenty of New Zealand dollar risk on the table. So I'm not interested in that. Um, Canadian yen, uh, nothing there. They're both heading down. And then the other one I had on my list was dollar yen. And again, nothing there. They're both heading to the downside. So nothing there. We'll just look at a couple of these other ones randomly. Aussie, New Zealand, nothing. Pound Swiss, nothing, both heading up. So yeah, so I need to make some adjustments here, guys. I might take New Zealand, I mean dollar Swiss short, and I may just cut the pound New Zealand trade. I've got enough pound risk on the table anyways, and I'll just let New Zealand Swiss run and hope that today's just a little bit of weakness, but that turns around and starts going higher, whether not today, but when the market reopens next week. So that's kind of how I'm leaning right now. So all right, but yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Again, in terms of futures, yeah, I mean the winner today obviously is soybean meal. You can see rocketing to the upside, and a little bit of a bearish action going on in the soybean oil, but I'm probably not going to take this. It's a late entry, and we're heading towards this, resistance area, support area again down here. Although it might not get there today. Um, I'm probably just gonna let this one go, and then if it does go down and make new lows, I'll be very happy with that because then I'll just wait for another pullback on the stochastic RSI, and then I'll get back in short and maybe play it down to the next layer of support down here. But I'm not going to chase it. It's not worth it. I'll end up giving back what I made yesterday on those other two trades, and I don't need the FOMO. So all right. So yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. I hope it was helpful. Just again, just another update. Currency strength indicator, really an excellent tool for finding potential currency forex pair trades. If you guys have any interest in that, like I said, I don't sell it personally. I'm happy to connect you with the developer that did. I actually spoke to him on Telegram about a week ago because I had a question on one of the settings. And I did ask him, I just said, hey, if somebody's interested in this, what do I do? And he said, just, give him, get you in touch with him, which I found him just in the Trading View community under the developers. So I can always forward you his information. Again, I don't sell anything on this channel. Um, so if you're interested, let me know. I'll also find out what he charges. I don't know if he's going to charge you what he charged me. He might charge more. He may have charged me more because he had to develop it. I'm not sure. But either way, he can always share the code with you for a fee. So, all right. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel on your way out. Have a great weekend. I probably won't make another one later today. I'm gonna head out of here early this afternoon um, for an early dinner with some friends. So I probably will be wrapping it up early today. All right. So take care, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.